So this has been a long process for you guys, as I understand. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, like basically, we wanted to record a couple songs, but then we were like looking for studio space, and we had some like ideas and stuff, but we're like we're on a budget, we have limited time, limited money, so I'm like, why don't we just make it in my parents' basement for free? So Phil bought the board, and then October 2017 is when we officially started tracking drums.
And we're
And
like, it'll be done in a few months.
Yeah, we'll be done by Christmas. And then sure enough, spring comes, and then we're like, oh, we're not even done guitars yet. And there's vocals, and we're like, oh my God, it's never gonna end. But the thing is, we got to do what we want though. Instead of like having studio fees and tracking by the hour. It's like, oh, this wasn't quite right. We got to take our time, get the tracks we wanted, and arrange it the way we wanted. And I think with that patience, we got what we wanted out of it.
I learned that I'm not a studio musician. You know, those guys like to come in to do one take. It's perfect. That's not me.
Oh yeah, no.
We
Like-
saved a lot of money.
Yeah. At least like I find with you and me, it's like first take we're like, oh, that was garbage, and we do two or three, and like, okay. By the ninth and 10th one is okay. Whereas with Phil, I think you got most of them in a decent
Yeah,
take.
because it's hard to like kind of cut together drum tracks because everything's ringing over each other and all that. So I kind of had to do it in one take. There's a couple of songs where I kind of had to take another take and fix this.
And we were like, oh, one more for good luck, one more for good luck. It's like, you know what? Do a practice run, and then we'll record after. And then sure enough, the practice run, we're like,
one was
we
always
should have been
perfect.
recording.
Always record the practice
Yeah,
run.
what did we learn, and what were we told? Always record everything.
Yeah, don't. Why not? If you have the space, why would you not do it?
Yeah. So.
so how long did the recording process take?
Well, we had drums and bass done by Christmas, by New Year's.
Yeah, that was at the rate that was going. I thought we were gonna be done soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, October to January, we had like, we even had all the arrangements like on, what fucking program were you using, Phil?
Ableton.
Ableton.
Yeah.
So like we had the drums and the bass, ready to go so we can track guitars. And then, we did like rhythm guitars, clean and electric. And then we did acoustic ones. So then by the time we were like done all the guitars, it was like May or June, I think.
I think what happened too is like because we're all adults with big boy jobs. And you guys work. Well, I forget what you were working at the time, but like I was always on weekends. You guys were more on weekdays. So like finding a day when we get together to record, and then we'd always run and review the material after and edit it.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
like
true.
even like okay, we did guitar takes for one song, and then 2 weeks later when our schedules align, okay, let's edit that material. Oh, there's a lot of it, so it took 2 sessions of editing, and then like every little thing just took like a month to do the next step, right? So it just had we like sat down and were like, okay, we're all on vacation for a month, it would have been done. It wouldn't have taken so long.
Yeah, like I think the whole album process was probably about like a month's worth of work, but just spread out over like the course of a year, like whenever we'd have time on nights and weekends and stuff like that.
So it was basically roughly like a day a week, more or less.
If we were lucky, a day a week would have been good. Yeah.
And then like I think at the holiday season we took some time off.
That
and
helped.
then there's like if let's say Phil and I or John got sick or we had something else come up, like okay, well we'll do it the next weekend, and then that'll be like 2 weeks later. And then sometimes you forget like what takes were good. Like you do be like, oh, this take is gonna be really good. You go back and listen, you're like, oh, I forgot I did this take. Oh, there's 10 takes I have to go through. And so sometimes we like write down the takes we would like at the time. You like, no, remember take 3 was good. And
We spent an entire editing session just fixing the solo on Lipstick on a Pig, my solo, because I did like I just improvised a bunch of guitar ones, and that was the first week my bass guitar was done, so I wanted to try it.
oh yeah, it's
And
true.
it turns out never having played a fretless instrument before, like most of the takes were just fucking garbage.
Yeah, I think we spent like 4 or 5 hours.
We
on
spent
that.
the entire time like piecing them together in such a way that they sounded good, and I'm happy with them. But like that would have been faster if I maybe actually learned to play it first.